Hello, everyone. I hope that you are all doing well and enduring this stressful time. We know that these times have been difficult. That's why we have prepared something special for you today. The presentation you're about to watch is called How to Manage Chronic Stress. We're going to learn about how chronic stress can affect your life, your mental health, and overall well being. Together, we will learn how to bounce back from those challenges in our everyday life, and hopefully, you're able to take something with you that can be useful for you and your family. There will be times when you may be asked to participate, so have a pencil and paper ready if you'd like to take some time to reflect on what you are learning. My name is Judith Lagaretta, and I have been a bilingual child and family therapist at the Bridge for about 4 years.
My name is Navita Khetterpal, and I have been a child and family therapist at the Bridge for about 2 years.
My name is Ashley London, and I've been a child and family therapist at the Bridge for about 3 years. Our mission here at the Bridge is to help young people and families achieve social and emotional health. The Bridge accomplishes its mission by providing crisis intervention, comprehensive counseling and therapy services, and a highly successful mentoring program aimed at prevention. Services are available to all Palatine Township residents regardless of ability to pay.
There are moments in life that feel like no matter what direction we take, it is full of stressful situations that we honestly might not want to deal with. To prepare you on how you can take on stress, we need to learn the basics of what stress is and how it affects us mentally and physically. Stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension coming from any event or thought that makes us feel frustrated, angry, or nervous. It can be a signal from your body telling you to act accordingly. Let's say you are getting into the expressway and you notice it to be busier than expected. Immediately, your attention goes to look around your surroundings and being cautious of other cars and your speed. That mental shift that happens when you're singing along to your favorite song on the radio to being aware of your surroundings can be stressful. However, that can be considered positive stress, since it is being helpful avoiding possible danger. Stress can be positive in short bursts. Those events that cause our stress can be called stressors. They can come from high pressure jobs, busy traffic, and relationships. Yes, stress can serve as an alarm to wake your body and mind into action. However, when you sustain stress for longer periods of time and you are in constant state of frustration, anger, and nervousness, it can deteriorate the way your mind and body respond in an effective way. Because your body is always ready to act in case of danger, it's almost as if the body forgets how to relax. And the more you're not able to relax, your body does not get the rest it deserves. Think about a time you felt exhausted and tired. Was it hard to focus on what you are doing or be as productive as you wanted to be? That's how your body and your mind feel when they're chronically stressed. Chronic stress can be caused by many different things, including emotional stress, environmental stress, relationship stress, and work stress. Emotional stress is when you're not able to regulate your emotions such as anger, sadness, and frustrations. Environmental stress is when your surroundings can be causing you to be in constant state of stress, like where you live, what is going around you, laws and policies that affect the way you live your life. Relationship stress comes from how you're relating to family, coworkers, and friends. Work stress comes from the pressures and responsibilities in your job that you have to fulfill. Well, how does COVID-19 fit into all of this? Many things have changed for us since the beginning of the year. Guidelines have been placed on how we interact with others, how we do our jobs, and how we even live our daily lives. Let's take a moment and list those things that have been stressful, specifically for you and those around you that you're aware of in these different areas. Emotional stress, environmental stress, relationship stress, work stress. I know it's hard to imagine always being stressed, or maybe not anymore, but your body does have a breaking point, and that's called burnout. That's when chronic stress starts to affect your daily life in a negative way that makes it very hard to function. This is what happens when you have been going and going and going for so long that the things that you used to do well, you don't do well anymore. You may be feeling angry all the time and start to isolate from others. How do you know you're stressed? It might seem intuitive if you're feeling tension in your body and mind as a way to know you are stressed. Some of us are not very good at listening to our thoughts and bodies and often disregard stress as much as possible. That makes it harder for us to recognize when we are stressed. Some good indications that you're under chronic stress are if your body starts to ache, you have fatigue, you have difficulty sleeping, or having fuzzy thoughts. Maybe you're getting headaches or feeling nauseous all the time. It can also come in the form of becoming short tempered, feeling anxious, having scattered thoughts, and even feeling emotionally overwhelmed. You may start to have poor relations with family members and coworkers. You may not have empathy for others, become more cynical, and may have lost the sense of direction, personal control, and even safety. It can lead to isolating from others, becoming upset and depressed, and even having suicidal thoughts. Living under strict guidelines, personal responsibilities, and not able to find a way to cope with these emotions can be very difficult. You are not alone. Go back to your list of stressors and begin to think about how you have been feeling with each of these stressors. How do you know these have stressed you out? Have you missed deadlines at work? Do you feel sad and irritable all the time? Take some time to write it down. How do you feel mentally? How does your body feel? I want you to even consider how you are feeling spiritually. Do you feel let down by others, have low morale, and just feel energetically drained? Be honest about where you are with stress. If you can't think of anything right now, take some time every day to start recognizing stress in your body and in your mind. We will be able to provide some tools that may be helpful for you and your family members that are currently under a lot of stress.
What is self-care and what does self-care require? Self-care is essentially providing adequate attention to your own physiological and emotional well-being. Includes actions that individuals take for themselves, their children, and their families to maintain fitness, good health, and mental health by meeting social and psychological needs. A quote states, "Take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically for a balanced life for yourself and for others around you." If you take care of yourself, only then can you adhere to others around you and aim to be the best version of yourself. Self-care requires self-awareness. Self-care does not necessarily mean to shut your mind down, as many believe that. Self-care, in fact, requires more awareness and more focus, but towards yourself. Self-awareness allows one the ability to recognize patterns of emotions and acknowledge events and or situations that trigger specific reactions or specific symptoms for those who suffer from a mental illness. Self-care also requires consistency and finding help when you need it. Finding help when you need it is being able to identify signs of burnout, as mentioned earlier, and the need to practice self-care. Additionally, some important aspects of self-care entail checking in with yourself by giving yourself time. This can be doing meditation or doing yoga, or even personal leisure such as skincare routines, and spa. This may also be a form of treating yourself once in a while for positive energy. Renewal of daily routine is also crucial, in that finding a new routine from waking up to going to bed can make your day livelier and more exciting to look forward to. Lastly, it's important to understand to set boundaries with others around you and focus on setting personal goals to achieve for yourself. Self-care yields great benefits that many do not see in their everyday lives. Practicing self-care reduces stress, increases positivity over negativity, provides a balance between physical, mental, and emotional sides of the self, and helps recognize the importance of the self. Self-care can help individuals tune into the self and hear what their mind and body is asking. Focusing on the self allows one to see the importance of the self, therefore increase self-esteem and self-worth. Thinking about the self is not selfish, it's self-giving. Adhering to your mind and body helps enhance the sense of self-worth and have a more positive outlook about the self. Your mind needs you, your body needs you, you need you. Listen to them.
In this current state, where connection is something we're striving for, we may have been noticing that those close around us are experiencing chronic stress and burnout. You're already taking the first step, which is learning to recognize stress and its effect on us. Now that you have been able to identify it in yourself, you will be able to notice it in others as well. You may notice your friend or family members distancing themselves from you, not as in social distancing. I'm talking about them isolating, not answering phone calls, or avoiding certain topics or conversations. You may notice them become easily frustrated, tearful, and even anxious. These can be red flags to something happening underneath the surface. Having these tough conversations can be difficult on both ends. Maybe you don't want to say the wrong thing, so you don't say anything at all. Maybe to avoid having conversations at all. In learning how to be there for others, we have to learn about how stress affects everyone. Are you noticing differences in the people you love or work with? Do you notice them not getting things done the way that they used to before? Talking about stress may feel like a difficult conversation to have with others. Most of us do not want to admit we are feeling the pressure of daily responsibilities and chores that we have to do. When you want to have an open conversation with a loved one or a coworker about something you're noticing, it can be considered a check-in. The first step to checking in on a friend is by learning how to ask in an approachable way. There are different ways to ask about how one is doing. You can be straightforward, or you can let them know you're thinking about them and open conversation in that way. No matter how you ask, make sure that you are in a place where you can have that open conversation in a private setting. Be ready to listen. Stay in the present. Make sure you are listening to what they say before forming your own words and feedback. Paraphrase what they're saying in your own words and ask if you're understanding their feelings correctly. This is called reflective listening. Some key understandings about reflective listening are the following. Use an even, maybe even uncertain tone of voice. You want to express that you want to understand what they're saying, but letting them correct you if you are wrong. If they do correct you, you aren't doing it wrong. It just means that there's more to understand about what they're saying, and they want you to figure it out. Pay attention to body language and what they're saying. Maybe you may notice your friend being anxious about work, but it's not saying it out loud. Ask, do you feel nervous about what's going on? Be open about what they say and how they say it. Provide support when necessary. When checking in, the intention is to be present and in the moment. Be aware that checking in is not just a 5-minute conversation. It can be a longer period of time that serves as a reminder that they are not alone and that they are cared for. In checking in, one needs to be also aware that there's only so much we can offer. We don't want to get stressed by caring for others too deeply. If you can't support others, that's also okay. That brings up a good point. checking in with yourself before you check in with others. One thing to remember is that you cannot pour from an empty cup. That means that you have to be in a good place to be able to give support to others and being prepared to listen to someone's feelings and deep thoughts that they may have not shared with anybody else. That can be overwhelming, which is why you need to be aware of what your limits are in your support and in your own stress levels. A good way to start setting those boundaries are by the following question. From 1 to 10, 1 being not stressed to 10 being very stressed, where would you say your stress is? With a simple number, you will be able to start setting where you are in your own need for support. If it's higher than, say, a 7, maybe it's time to use tools that you learn to manage your own stress before being able to give time to others. Do I have numbers available in case it is more serious matter than what I can handle? Remember, there are professionals that are highly trained for those instances that may feel out of your element. Before you plan to check in with someone, make sure you at least have 1 or 2 numbers for a therapist, suicide prevention line, or someone that can be helpful in finding referrals for you and your friend, family, or coworker. Do you have time? Be mindful of your own time and how much you can give. Be strict on that time. If you need to cut down the conversation, make plans to continue the conversation at a different time. If you have limited amount of time, let others know. It may feel weird at first, but you have to remember that your time is as valuable as theirs. It is not changing how you feel about them, it's about being as transparent as you can for your relationship. If they're refusing to check in, be empathic. It is hard to open up if you're struggling. Empathize with their struggles and offer your support. Remind them that you love them.
I will walk you all through different types of coping skills. As we go through each one, I challenge you to think about coping strategies you currently incorporate into your daily routine and those skills that you're willing to try. The goal is to have many different coping skills in your toolbox. The first type we will explore are those coping skills that provide comfort through your 5 senses: touch, hear, see, taste, and smell. Some examples of these are listening to music, using lotion or perfume, lighting a candle of your favorite scent, petting an animal, or snuggling up with your favorite blanket. The second type of coping skills is distraction. Taking your mind off the issue for a little while is different than ignoring the issue altogether. A metaphor I like to use with my clients is like when you clean your room and shove all the mess into a stuffed closet and shut the door. Eventually, this door is going to swing open and all the items are going to come pouring out, causing a bigger mess than there was in the first place. So, with distraction, be mindful that you are not ignoring the problem, but rather taking a break to come back to it later when you are in a more capable, mindful state. Some great distractions that I've used during this time include completing puzzles, reading, making arts and crafts, and watching my favorite TV shows and movies. The third type of coping skills is opposite action. This means to do something that is opposite of your impulse, which is consistent with a more positive emotion. For instance, if you are sad, I do not recommend watching a sad movie. Try to find something more uplifting that can possibly put you in a better mood. I personally love to laugh. It gets me through the darkest times. The fourth type of coping skills is emotional awareness. These are tools for identifying and expressing your feelings. Being aware of how we are feeling is super important. That way, we have a better sense of what our mind and body needs. A great way to check in with our thoughts and feelings is by journaling. Another very useful way to express ourselves is through art. Art can be a very powerful way to get our emotions onto paper in a creative and relieving way. The fifth type of coping skills is mindfulness. Mindfulness helps to center and ground ourselves to remain in the present moment. A way I describe this to my clients is being truly present in the here and now. Don't think about anything other than what is happening at this very moment. This can be difficult to do, but the more you practice mindfulness, the easier it will become. Some ways to practice mindfulness are meditation, yoga, breathing exercise, and grounding techniques. And it is always important to have a list of contacts to reach out to those that can support you and provide resources if these coping strategies do not work as well. Here is an image of the brain that demonstrates the benefits of practicing mindfulness meditation. I want to walk you through a mindfulness exercise so you can get an idea for yourself. Mindfulness is an exercise that allows the body and mind to become fully present through the practice of meditation. It allows one to become aware of where they are and what they're doing, and allows oneself to not become too reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on in their environment. Before preparing to practice mindfulness meditation, do this quick scan to assess what you are experiencing mentally and emotionally. After you enter the information and think about it, perform the mindfulness exercise, and then we will complete a post exercise. So think to yourself, what is the emotion that you are currently experiencing? On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most intense, rate the intensity at which you are feeling that current emotion. And think to yourself, what are your current thoughts? And maybe jot them down. All right, I will begin the exercise. So sit in a comfortable position that will allow you to maintain concentration. Hands resting comfortably in your lap, head straight. Close your eyes. Focus on the area of skin on your top lip just under your nostrils. To start with, it may help to breathe in, count 1 and count 2, and as you breathe out, count 1 and count 2. Feel the air moving over this area with each breath and in and each breath out. Breathe into your stomach, let it fill up like a balloon. Let your stomach soften and deflate as you breathe out. Follow your breath and let it happen naturally, gently, slowly, and completely. With each breath out, relax and let go of tension and resistance. Relax into the moment. Maintain focus on the air passing over your lip, into and out of your nostrils. If your mind wanders, that is okay. Accept the thought and try your best to bring your focus back to your breath. Feel the positive energy of the space around you. Think of each breath as a healing to your heart. Allow your focus and attention to stay with each and every breath. Do not think about breathing, just feel the breath as it enters the nose, fills the lungs, nurtures the body, and returns to the atmosphere. So I hope that was relaxing for you all, to ask you some questions after doing that exercise. What is the emotion that you are currently experiencing now after doing that breathing exercise? On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being most intense, rate the intensity at which you are feeling your current emotion. And lastly, what are your current thoughts, if any? I hope that was helpful for you all. And as you all just experienced, before doing mindfulness exercises, it is really important to take deep breaths. When taking deep breaths, you want your stomach to fill up like a balloon. I recommend putting one hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach. You must breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. One technique I often use is a 4-second inhale, a 4-second hold, and a 6-second exhale. Why don't you give it a try? Before doing a grounding exercise, it is important to take several deep breaths. When taking deep breaths, you want your stomach to fill up like a balloon. You will breathe in your nose and breathe out of your mouth. Let's try the 4-second inhale, 4-second hold, and 6-second exhale again before I introduce you to this grounding technique. Wonderful. Now look around the room and name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. What is so great about this exercise is you can do it anywhere at any time.
We appreciate you taking the time to learn about stress, how it affects all of us, and maybe there are things that you can take away from today that will be helpful when life gets overwhelming. We have added a couple of things that may be of use to you. We provided the National Suicide Prevention Hotline and 2 websites that are able to provide mental health resources and referrals. We have also added a website that is helpful in finding counseling for your personal needs if that is something that you are interested in. Sometimes we need an additional way to assess how we are taking care of ourselves, and this self-care assessment is a good way to start to recognize your needs. We at the Bridge can also find local resources and referrals in case you are in need of them. If you have families in the need of counseling in the Palatine area, you can refer them to us as well. We are always here to help. Thank you for listening.